So the more that they hear the same words over and over again, the more that they're gonna start internalizing them and trying to use them in day-to-day life. Today, we are gonna be talking about how to pick high quality books for babies and toddlers. Hey there, my name is Veronica and I am an early childhood teacher and now stay-at-home mom. And my biggest passion is sharing teaching or teachable moments with families and how to incorporate them in their homes as well. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't seen my first two videos in this series of early literacy skills or promoting early literacy skills, check them out. If not, welcome. And today we are going to be talking about how to pick high quality books for babies and toddlers. Now, in my first few videos, I talked about how much I did not like board books, but I am pro board books now for babies and toddlers. Mind blowing, love it. And there's so many great things about them. You just have to find those special books. I want to talk about picking those books, whether you're at the library, at a store, at a garage sale, wherever you might find books. Let's talk about what we should be looking for, what qualities these books should have. And not all books will have every quality that I'm going to talk about, but a variety of these books are so important because it allows them to enjoy reading in different ways. So the first quality you might look for is a book that has a repeating pattern. What? I don't want to read a book that's the same over and over again, but let me tell you why this is so important. It is important because it's exposing your child to the same words over and over again, which is promoting those vocabulary words, but also their language development. So the more that they hear the same words over and over again, the more that they're going to start internalizing them and trying to use them in day-to-day life. Also, by having the books that repeat the phrases over and over again, kids will catch on, and as they get older, they're gonna join you in the reading and they're gonna feel like they're reading, which is gonna make it more meaningful. So for example, one of our favorite books that has repeating, this is a book from Usborne and it repeats, and let me show you why I love it. That's not my zebra. Its tail is That's not my zebra. Its tail is too And so it keeps repeating that phrase over and over again until the very end. Amelia's engagement in the story is so high for a variety of reasons, but I definitely think one is because it repeats. She knows what to expect, and then it kind of gives her something to touch as well, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. Another book or another example would be like Brown Bear, Brown Bear. It repeats, right? Brown Bear, what do you see? I see a bird looking at me. So it's repeating, what do you see? Looking at me. I see. It has repeating patterns. It's a little bit higher, but definitely this is a great book for young children because it's talking about color, which is not an early learning standard, but it's great to use because it helps them describe things a lot. And it's talking about the name of the animal. And those are two things that young children have a lot of success in. They're just so cute. I love it. Second thing you should be looking for, or you can look for in books, is books that go to a tune of a song. Why would I want to read a book that is a song? One thing I've really noticed is that kids who are exposed to nursery rhymes or songs, they have better language skills. They become more fluent in speaking or more clearly speaking because they are hearing those tunes and they're practicing it throughout the day. So it doesn't have to just be a book, but it now is something that they can sing with their families when they're out and about, when you need a filler. So books that have songs, one, are really engaging because there's a tune and a melody to it, but two, you can use it in everyday life as just something you're singing with your child, and it's going to increase their language development. Some books that we have that we like to sing is Twinkle Twinkle Little Unicorn. Sounds like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Twinkle Twinkle Unicorn, sparkle with your magic horn. And we have Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and a bunch of other nursery rhyme books. But again, it's exciting, it's predictable. the kids kind of hear the tune and they're going to be more engaged and they're going to sit and listen better or for a longer period of time. I know when I've read this to Amelia, she's like glued because one, I'm singing, and two, it's fun and unique. For our itty bitty babies, I would suggest finding a book similar to this. It is a nursery rhyme. It's the Itsy Bitsy Spider, but it's more of a touch and feel. It makes sounds. It's fluffy. It's just a fun way to practice those early literacy skills. The third thing you might want to consider when picking books for young children are books with pages that have texture or flips or make sounds of some sort. So this will increase their engagement and their attention, but also just it's more of a novelty, and it's going to make them want to pick that book up more often. So for example, the spider book, it crinkles, it has frills, things to pull on. She loved it when she was like really young. This is probably the first book we read a lot. She'd pull it out and open the pages. But then as they get older, you can start introducing those books with like the flips, because they might not rip them as often or frequently. You can always like reinforce it with some tape as well if you're worried that they're gonna rip it. I know our public library does that with their flip books. They reinforce it, and that definitely helps a whole lot. So this book is great as well because it is a book with lots of rhyme and pattern, and it has a flip. So it gets her a little bit more excited. She likes to pull it down. And this page, for some reason, she knows it's like, it's a honey bunny singing a song, and she starts like dancing. So it's really cute because we read it so often and it has a tune to it and a rhyme. Okay, so another thing you might want to be looking for in books is rhymes, books that have rhymes within them, because rhymes help children become readers. They understand that words can be broken apart. Some words have the same endings. You change the beginning sound and it makes a new word. Crazy. And this is a skill that your child's definitely going to need by preschool so that they can be prepared for reading in kindergarten and so on. So rhyming is exposure to phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness is recognizing that words are made of separate sounds. Ball, b, all, b, all, ball. Change the first sound, t, all, t, all, tall. We can chunk the word out. And once you understand that there's an ending and there's a beginning, you can change the beginning or you can change the ending, and it can make a rhyme. And rhyming is also really requiring children to understand or listen for the first sound or the sounds that change. So by reading rhyming books early on, you're helping get your child prepared for a later skill that they're gonna need to be able to read successfully independently. I definitely did a lot of rhyming activities with my preschoolers and my kindergartners because it's something that they need to be able to hear and apply in their reading skills. So another thing you want to look for when you are looking for high quality books are books that have strong vocabulary, books that are introducing words that might be new and big, and it's never too early to start using larger words with your young children. Don't expect them to say them back to you, but you can expose them to it. For example, in my classroom, instead of us saying like, oh, please sit down, or like, you need to sit on your bottom, I would say, please sit down on your gluteus maximus. How often do you use that word? You don't use it very often, but it allowed the kids to hear a bigger word, which made them feel super smart. That was more for my preschool kids, and my kindergarten kids, they thought it was hilarious. But for our younger kids, when you're reading books, you're looking for books that have some vocabulary or some words in there for exposure. So it's nice to look for that. I'm gonna go right back to that zebra book because it's talking about like describing words, hairy, fuzzy, not huge crazy vocab words, but words to describe things. Fluffy, bumpy, soft. So when I say words with strong vocabulary, you can use words or look for books that have really big words or books that are describing things because it's allowing them to hear more vocabulary that they can use in their everyday life. But yeah, it's never too early to use big words with your young children. They might not repeat them, they might not understand them completely, but the more you use them, the more exposure, the more that they're gonna internalize it and remember it or make something meaningful. And the last thing, or last quality that you can be looking for in a book is books that are about your child's specific interests. So yes, kids' interests change all the time, and this is why I feel like going to the library is such a great tool or resource, because then you can change the books out. So for example, when your child is reading books that they're really interested in, their engagement level is going to go through the roof, and they're going to be more willing to sit there and listen or participate in the reading. For example, Amelia is in love with farm animals right now. We know, like, when she's like really fussy and she needs to calm down, we can read a farm animal book and she'll come crawling over, or she'll sit there and be more engaged. So again, I went to the library, found a bunch of farm animal books. She loves them. Yeah, I think it's just awesome that even at a young age, you can kind of tell or predict what your kids are interested in, and you can tailor things to their needs. I hope there was some ideas within this video that gave you like, oh, hey, I could include this in my, or I could be looking for this next time I'm looking for books for my child, so that you're not just buying books that are like, oh yay, it's a board book, yay. You can be really looking for things within it. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned a little something, and I look forward to sharing a few more tips about early literacy skills in your home. Drop a comment below about what kind of books your child or children are interested in, or any other books that you would recommend to fellow families looking for some high quality or meaningful books for their babies and toddlers. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye. Hey, hello, howdy.